Gormagat Alaska here. Look, at the outset, can I pay tribute to the Minister for your tenacity and sticking with this and seeing it through and doing the right thing, and also to your officials for a very comprehensive bill. I suppose there's two huge, there are a number of facets. Obviously, the big objective here is to establish, and the bill establishes a gambling authority and the gambling regulator on a statutory footing. It establishes a social fund, and it then goes through various regulatory matters. Now, just at the outset, we cannot stress often enough how pernicious gambling is. It results in family breakdown, it results in financial crisis, results in depression, suicide, a range of mental health issues. The numbers that gamble in this country are frightening. 49% of the population gamble. Obviously, that's a continuum from the small flutter or the bingo goer described by my colleague, right up to problematic individuals. And the problematic individuals, as the Minister said, are 3%, and I suppose that does equate to about 100,000 people in the country. Now, anyone who has any doubt about the horrible nature of gambling and its awfully addictive quality should, and I commend this to anyone with the slightest doubt, and indeed to anyone with an interest in general affairs, to read Tony 10. It's a book by Tony O'Reilly, who was a postman, became a post office manager official from Carlow Town, was based over in Wexford in that capacity. He gambled 10 million and he lost it all. And the book is called Tony 10 because 10 was his number with Paddy Power. It's a very serious read and it's a very frightening read. And I held an online seminar on gambling some months ago and had him as a guest speaker, and I tell you, you would not be well after listening to him, quite seriously. It's scary. His whole family life broke down, everything. Now, so I think, as I say, it's an insidious grip of addiction. It knows no bounds, and it's our responsibility as lawmakers to deal with it. It's very problematic in rural Ireland, where community bonds are strong and social spaces are scarce. Gambling establishments frequently serve as gathering places for many people. However, beneath the veneer of camaraderie, there's a darker reality. These establishments frequently prey on vulnerable people, enticing them with the promise of quick riches while trapping them in a cycle of debt and despair. The proliferation of free bets and other predatory tactics employed by gambling licence holders exacerbates the problem, turning unsuspecting outsiders, bringing them into the web of addiction. The proliferation of online gambling platforms, and particularly through COVID, has created a new frontier of danger, particularly for our youth, because that's the way they operate. Children with easy access to smartphones and the internet are increasingly susceptible to the allure of online gambling. And it's anonymous, and there's easy accessibility, and it fosters addiction, disastrous consequences. And as I said, just in an informal conversation with a colleague here earlier, it's unlike other addictions. It doesn't become visible until all the harm's done, and that's a real issue. The chronic culture of gambling permeates every facet of our society, and I think having outlined that, I think I'd like to move to the bill. So one big aspect is credit cards, Minister, and I'd like to know, and I know it was asked by my colleague, that you would clarify where we stand on the use of credit cards. As my colleague Senator Wall so eloquently put it, or so well put it rather, what's the point? It's tragic that somebody would gamble their own money, but that they might borrow potential family income to do it would be shocking. So the credit cards are important. I know that the on-site ATMs can't be used at the gambling places, and that's very important, and that's good. It's great that the bill provides, Minister, that there won't be credit for customers. This measure is critical in preventing people from falling into the trap of debt-fueled gambling, and that's where Tony O'Reilly and he's one of so many where he fell, and the Oisin McConvilles, all of the people who go public on this tell you the debt, the fact that they could accumulate the debt. It is a common sense provision that will shield individuals and businesses. The bill addresses the credit card gambling, but the gambling advertising, and that's so important. There will be a watershed, if I understand it correctly, Minister, no social media advertising, and a watershed from 5:30 to 9. By that, no radio and television advertising at that time. That is so critical. Children, young people shouldn't be exposed to that kind of gambling. In fact, it's questionable if it should be on after 9 as well. Furthermore, this bill simplifies the process of applying for gambling licences, allowing legitimate operators to enter the market while weeding out predatory entities. Despite this, however, charitable organisations, and let's get rid of this red herring, will be able to run their raffles, their fundraisers, and they will be able to continue good work in their communities. It's a nonsense to suggest the contrary. Together, these measures mark a significant step, and so I would say the blocking of internet provision of illegal gambling is so important. I'm going to finish here. Advertising to children, gambling advertising on all social media, sporting events being sponsored by gambling companies is a critical, and the limit to lodgements. Monitoring too is so important, monitoring of people as their problem develops and interventions at that level. So basically, it's difficult to address the bill comprehensively in the short time, except to welcome it and to ask the Minister around the credit cards, and to say that it's a credit to the Minister and to the Department, and that in fact we should have been doing this 10 years ago, but it's better late than never. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.